Social justice, culture, and religion seem to weave their way throughout the colorful and thoughtful work of Brooklyn's own native son, Juan Sanchez. And today we're going to meet the artist behind the expression. We'll talk about his journey from Brooklyn through the art world right up to the current solo exhibition here at the BRIC House Gallery. Welcome, Mr. Sanchez.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, like I said, you're a Brooklyn-born artist. What does it feel like? You're coming full circle with this exhibition. How did it come about? How was the opening event?
Well, first of all, it's wonderful to have this show at BRIC in Brooklyn. My parents migrated from Puerto Rico into Brooklyn, and I lived in Brownsville, Bushwick, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Right now, I'm living in Williamsburg since 1980. And quite frankly, my life and my career as an artist emanated here in Brooklyn.
Here.
Ever since I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a comic book artist, and then later an animator, and then later graphic design. Yeah. And then I defected into the fine arts. And I was encouraged by my grade school teacher in PS 106 in Bushwick. And it went on and on and on. I've been having shows in Manhattan for the most part, and in other parts of the United States as well as abroad. Right. But I've always been a little irritated that I haven't had a solo show in Brooklyn all these years, because yes,
So this is your first solo show
first
in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, and I think it came at a very good time, because the work has arrived at a certain point where I'm very excited about it, very proud about it. I think I've gone through an interesting transformation through my work, and this is the best place to showcase a little piece of it.
Well, let me, for one, say it is about damn time, and I'm so glad that we were part of this process. In a way, it's like you kind of can't be mad because the world has risen to meet your work, because you've been working on something that we took a walk around earlier, and it really is a beautiful, very visceral history lesson, as well as just being beautiful art. It's like the consciousness of the world is rising to meet the level of your work.
Well, my mother always told me that these things, many things happen at due time. And as I said before, I was just a little bothered that I haven't had a show in Brooklyn, but God, I've had shows in New York, in important museums and galleries. So it's just a little thing. And quite frankly, it occurred to me when Elizabeth Ferrer, the curator and the president of contemporary art here at BRIC, approached me about the show. And I grew very excited, and I said, by all means, let's do it. And then when she left my studio, it occurred to me, I never had a show in Brooklyn. This is my first one, you know? And the work is ripe for this moment. Absolutely. And as far as Brooklyn is concerned, it's a New York show, you know?
As Brian said, we just walked around. We saw, I mean, there's so many powerful images and themes that run through your work. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about them who haven't come in and seen yet?
Well, the paintings, which are like 6 by 6 feet, they're huge mixed media paintings. And it comes from a series called Cries and Wounded Whispers. And they're paintings about individuals, and we could say people like
revolutionaries.
Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, what's on the screen right now, Pedro Albizu Campos, a nationalist from Puerto Rico, Rosa Luxemburg, the Mirabal sisters from the Dominican Republic, and we could go on and on and on. And what's interesting about this series is that, yes, I do maintain a connection to Puerto Rican history and the politics, but it has gone beyond the question of Puerto Rican Latino culture and politics, and it's entered into other areas which I feel I'm still connected to. Being born and raised in New York, yes, I was exposed to the Black Civil Rights Movement. I was exposed to the Black Panther parties. I was exposed to so many movements, the Asian American movements. And growing up, you get exposed to all of the struggles and the battles for human rights that's going on all over the world.
So you told us that you were like all over Brooklyn, Brownsville, Bushwick, but your work does have such a global view, and that theme runs through. So I wonder, what is the impression you would like a young kid who's growing up in Brooklyn, maybe even like a junior yourself who could have passed through the gallery, to take away from the work?
I think it's important for young people to realize who they are, what are their roots, what are their history, to be exceptionally proud of it, and to connect with other peoples and other culture. It took me a little while, but the more I became so aware of how Black I was and how Puerto Rican, how much a part I am of the Caribbean diaspora, it connected me to so many different cultures and so many different people, because you can't help but point to the dots where, okay, well, there's a Jewish connection here, there's a Islamic connection here,
Right.
you know, there's an Irish connection, there's a indigenous Native American connection, and then the more Puerto Rican I became, the more of an internationalist I became, and in that regard, it made me a citizen of the world. And the series, among other works in the exhibition, makes that connection. Sure, if you're from Jamaica, if you're from Irish descent or whatever, get into it and love yourself, and at the same time, find the roots and the connection with every people. That way, it breaks down all of the fear and the prejudices, because we're all one. We're all connected. And there's so many affinities in terms of religious practice, food, custom, just the humanity of who we are.
Opportunities for bridging.
It just bridges, and it really pulls us together. And hopefully it'll help us resolve whatever issues or problems in a way that is human and fair. And I do believe in social justice, and social justice for all, instead of at the cost of somebody else.
Right.
And that's what the work is about. It speaks to the people who have sacrificed themselves for us. It also talks about my mother.
Yeah.
It talks about my wife. You know, I mean, there's a lot of personal expression in the work too, because it's all interconnection. It's about family, you know. So that's really what I would like people to, especially the youth, to walk away with.
We also need to have the youth have a place where they can have a physical plant. I know that you've been moving around with your studio. New York ain't so easy to live as an artist anymore.
Yes. Unfortunately, with the incredible talent that we have in the cities and other major cities in the United States, it seems to be so antagonistic towards us, and we're always rambling to find some cubby holes so that we could continue our creative practice. It's amazing because on one hand, the city benefits so much from our creativity, but you know, for me, those are you know, blocks that artists are always confronting, and we always figure out a way of how to step over that and reestablish ourselves. And this exhibition definitely is an exclamation point that I've been doing this for 35 years. I will continue doing it. It'll be fine. It'll be a continued struggle, but I'll still be generating work and connecting with people.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us, Juan. Come down and see the exhibit whenever you can. It'll be here through, do we know?
Through September 27th.
Through
I'm sorry, December.
December 27th.
December 27th.
Through December 27th.
A few days
We just missed
after
it.
Christmas.
Yeah, it's definitely worth your time, and you'll leave so much better than you came in.
Absolutely.
It's a great show. Glad we could be part of your homecoming.
I really appreciate it. It is a homecoming. Thank you.